Greetings, humans, Saiyans, and Namex. I would like to welcome you back to Crawford Farms Entertainment. Today, we will look at what would happen if Vegeta fought the Powerpuff Girls. How did we get here? Why is the mighty Saiyan Prince about to do battle with these little girls? Stay tuned to find out.
Vegeta's mind has been in turmoil for the past 2 weeks. His beloved wife Bulma has recently started acting strange and evasive. Her usually candid behavior had dissipated, leaving Vegeta with a sickening intuition that something was not right. All passwords were based on their children's birthdays, which they've always shared between them. Vegeta was confident that nothing would be concealed from him. Yet he was dumbfounded when he discovered that Bulma had created a clandestine Instagram account under the moniker Hot Mama Bully B. The account had no posts, raising Vegeta's suspicion. Why would Bulma, a prolific poster, create an account without sharing any content? His emotions were manically fluctuating between rage and sadness. Still, Vegeta attempted to suppress his qualms and convince himself that his wife's Instagram account was harmless. However, his intuition forbade him from ignoring the warning signs. With trembling fingers, Vegeta gathered the courage to check the Instagram messages, and his worst fears manifested. His heart shattered as he uncovered a dozen messages between his wife and another man who called himself the Professor. Vegeta was skeptical and suspicious as he read through the messages between his wife and some mysterious professor. Though not overtly incriminating, they were enough to set Vegeta on edge and begin a covert investigation. With growing apprehension, he read the last message that sealed his fears. "Does your husband know what's going on?" the professor asked Bulma. Bulma replied, "No, he is clueless, as usual." "Perfect. 10 o'clock tomorrow. See you then." Vegeta's heart raced as the idea of his wife being involved in some secret activity with another man consumed him. Though it was possible that the pair were working on something harmless and science-related, he had to be sure. Thus, he decided to follow his wife to the rendezvous point, hoping that his fears would remain unfounded, yet bracing himself for the worst. Vegeta was determined to get to the bottom of things and began following his wife's car, hovering high above her to avoid detection. As they reached a quiet suburb, the car came to a stop outside a residential property. Bulma disembarked from the car, and as the door to the house opened, out popped the mysterious professor from the messages. Vegeta had initially planned to bide his time and gather more information before taking any action. However, as he saw the professor embrace Bulma and watched her give him a peck on the cheek, the Saiyan Prince was consumed with rage. "Not my Bulma," he howled as he flew down with lightning speed to confront the man. Bulma heard her husband's furious outburst ringing from up above and called out, "Honey, it's not what you think." Unfortunately, her voice was drowned out by Vegeta's rage and seething anger. As he entered the professor's laboratory, he shouted out, "You're a dead man," with enough force to awaken the professor's children. Suddenly, a brightly colored blur knocked Vegeta from his feet. He quickly regained his footing, realizing he had awakened the professor's protectors. The Powerpuff Girls, Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup were ready to do battle with the Saiyan warrior who had dared to threaten the beloved professor.
Suddenly, a brightly colored blur knocked Vegeta from his feet. He quickly regained his footing, realizing he had awakened the professor's protectors, the Powerpuff Girls. Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup were ready to do battle. The enraged Vegeta ignored the professor's attempts to explain. The battle was about to begin. Vegeta could no longer contain his fury as he was confronted by the Powerpuff Girls and their mentor, the professor. With a fierce look in his eyes, he unleashed a devastating ki blast aimed straight at Blossom, sending her flying back, her petite frame no match for the sheer force of his attack. "I have no desire to fight a bunch of pint-sized brats," Vegeta roared, a sneer spreading across his face as he turned his attention back to the girls. But as soon as he finished his sentence, Buttercup and Bubbles sprang into action, their movements so swift that they appeared as mere blurs in the air. With sheer precision, they swept his legs out from under him, turning him head over heels. A sharp thud echoed through the air as his head landed on the ground, but Vegeta wasted no time, leaping back to his feet and engaging in a frenzied exchange of lightning-fast blows with the girls. As the battle raged on, Vegeta began to realize that his opponents were not to be underestimated. How can this be, he thought, his thoughts racing as he struggled to keep up with their movements. These toddlers are too much for my base form. I'll have to take it to Super Saiyan. With a resounding yell, Vegeta's energy began to surge, his entire body flickering as he transformed into his Super Saiyan form. Blossom nearly smirked in response, her confidence unshaken. "It's about time," she remarked, with a hint of amusement. We were getting bored. The intensity of the battle continued to escalate until the professor finally sensed that it was about to spiral out of control. With a swift motion, he activated the portal, whisking the combatants away to a pocket dimension where they could unleash their full power without causing collateral damage. But the fighters were so engrossed in their battle, so consumed by their desire to defeat their opponent, that they were completely oblivious to the transition. Vegeta began to rapidly fire a ki blast in the direction of the pint-sized Powerpuff Girls. The girls moved with lightning-fast reflexes, effortlessly dodging each attack. They laughed and giggled as if they were simply having the time of their lives. In a fit of violent rage, Vegeta managed to land a devastating punch on Buttercup's tiny frame. Blossom and Bubbles quickly retaliated, attacking with a viciousness that the Saiyan Prince had never before experienced. As they unleashed a flurry of blows on him, Buttercup regained her composure and flew at lightning speed towards Vegeta, ramming her head into his abdomen. The force of the blow was enough to bring the Saiyan Prince to his knees in agony. "Had enough, old man?" Blossom asked, her voice cool and collected. Stunned with the pain, Vegeta was unable to respond immediately. But before he could even gather his senses, but cut in with a taunt of her own. "I guess so," she snickered, turning to walk away with her sisters. But then, a spark of blue light caught the girl's attention, followed by the sound of Vegeta's voice. "Not so fast," he growled, the veins on his forehead bulging with fury. Vegeta had now accessed the power of Super Saiyan Blue, and the intensity of the battle suddenly increased tenfold. Seemingly invincible, he threw the girls around like mere rag dolls, overpowering them with ease. But just as he was about to deliver a finishing blow, looked up at him with pleading eyes and uttered a heart-wrenched plea. "Please don't hurt us, mister," she whimpered. "We're just kids." Vegeta was suddenly hit with a wave of compassion, his thoughts turning towards his own children. Ashamed of his earlier behavior, he said with a solemn tone, "I won't hurt you, little ones." He turned to leave, intent on ending the battle. But before he could even take a step, he felt a sudden surge of violent energy explode within his vicinity. The combined eye laser of the Powerpuff Girls was enough to badly injure Vegeta. His defenses totally down in that fraction of a second. Vegeta lay on the ground, writhing in pain from the blast. Satisfied that they had won the battle, the Powerpuff Girls began to celebrate with their victory. Little did they know the battle was far from over. A strange spark had been ignited within Vegeta. His ultra ego had been awakened, fueled by the pain of betrayal he felt from his beloved Bulma. The professor and Bulma, who had been monitoring the battle and gathering data, soon discovered something both extraordinary and terrifying. "We have to end this," the professor cried out, his voice laced with urgency. "He's too powerful in this new form. He'll destroy my girls." Bulma quickly took heed of his warning and traveled through a portal to the battlefield where her enraged husband stood, ready to unleash his power at any moment. As the Powerpuff Girls huddled together in terror, Vegeta prepared a finishing ki blast. But just as he was about to unleash it, Bulma stood between him and the trembling girls, her own expression one of defiance. Despite his disbelief that she had betrayed him, Vegeta could never raise a hand against his beloved wife. With a heavy heart, he powered down his attack and finally spoke out. "Bulma, why?" he demanded, his voice shaking with emotion. Bulma's response was, I don't know what you think is going on, but you're ruining your own birthday surprise. This was supposed to be a new training area for you. The professor was helping me work on increasing the gravity and such. What did you think was going on? As Vegeta slowly powered down to his base form, he felt a pang of regret for doubting the woman he loved. Tears now streaming down his face, he turned towards the terrified Powerpuff Girls and apologized profusely. Bulma, can you find it in your heart to forgive me? He implored, his voice quivering with genuine remorse. I should have never doubted you. Despite her initial anger at the notion that her husband had believed her to be unfaithful, Bulma couldn't help but feel pity for the mighty Saiyan warrior before her, now moved to tears. In the end, she simply placed a hand on his shoulder and whispered, Of course, Vegeta, I forgive you.